Hello and welcome to another rebroadcast of Songs for the Struggling Artist episode. This is a replay of an episode, the 10th episode actually, of the podcast. I looked for the least popular, like the episode with the least number of views, since last week I played you the most popular. The least popular ones are all the ones that are most recent because a lot of this stuff is cumulative. So I didn't want to play you something that you've already just recently listened to. So I went way far back to episode 10 of the podcast. And the advantage of this one also is, like the previous, it is an original song to be replayed. So that's nice. And I haven't re-listened to it. You will re-listen to it along with me. But I have reread it, and it is still true. So, and this had 28 views. It's not views, downloads. Anyway, here it is from way back in 2016. A replay of Ideas, Glitter, and Places to Put Them. Hello, and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the podcast. This is episode 10, maybe, I think. I don't know. I haven't done one in a little while, so I've lost count. But we are still, I think, in the early days. I just added the podcast to iTunes. So if you're hearing it on iTunes, you're one of the first, the few, the excited, perhaps. So I added it on iTunes because I was going to try and have it be a part of this podcast challenge that this guy called Paul Jarvis put out. And I was like, okay, I got to get it on iTunes to get it submitted to that thing. And then I would totally hustled to get it on iTunes to meet the deadline, and then just promptly forgot to submit it to the podcast challenge. So this is how it goes sometimes. But at least it's on iTunes now. So that's you can find this podcast where you regularly get your podcasts, not just on SoundCloud, but on iTunes, assuming you regularly get your podcasts somewhere at all, which I guess, a lot of people don't get them. Anyway, so today I am going to be reading you a blog I wrote a while ago and posted also not quite as long ago, but a few weeks ago at this point. I've been traveling for the last few weeks, maybe about a month if you add it all up, which has been great. So now I'm kind of trying to get back into the swing of things. I'm actually recording this for the very first time on my iPad because I am away from home. I am across the country. I'm in Portland, Oregon as I record this. So this is the maiden voyage of the podcast of the iPad recording of the podcast, which was a kind of a steep learning curve, actually, weirdly. But hopefully I will manage it and figure it out. So many developments, iTunes being one of them, and this new blog, which I will read to you shortly. And I feel sure there was something else I wanted to tell you, but maybe I'll save that, whatever it might be, till the end of the podcast. So enjoy this blog. This is called Ideas and Glitter and Places to Put Them. Over the years, I've been a part of various schemes that are meant to help artists. Most of the ones in New York City are schemes to improve our business skills, to make us bigger and more solid institutions. These make me nuts for reasons I have discussed many times before. But recently, I have been involved in schemes that are meant to help give me ideas and inspirations. These make me nuts in a very different way. I have so many ideas, folks. I have ideas for breakfast, ideas for lunch, ideas for afternoon tea, dinner, and midnight snack. I am rolling in ideas, and I am grateful for that abundance of ideas. I feel I can never have too many, so I am always happy to be a part of something meant to increase my inspiration. But ideas are never my problem. It's like ideas are glitter. Glitter is wonderful. It makes everything it touches sparkle. Every time someone gives me more glitter, I'm going to be happy to receive it. But the thing I haven't had is a place to put all this glitter. It's pouring out of drawers, stuffed into socks, pooling in corners. When there's no space to put my glitter or a container to store it, it can start to feel like a burden to keep receiving it. Someone gives me a handful of glitter and I'm like, ooh, glitter, thank you. And then I look around. Where is this going to go? I suspect my fellow American artists are also not short on ideas and inspiration. We've all seen shows and been lit up and gone home thinking, I can't wait to try something like that. And then we realize that we have neither the time, the space, nor the context to try that idea out. We don't have research and development grants as some of our European colleagues do. Everything we do is meant to be a product with a target audience and numbers to match. There's not much space for glitter in the models we have. But glitter is often what we love, what we respond to. I will never refuse an idea, would never refuse a handful of glitter. But like glitter, ideas can find their way into inconvenient places and start to clog up the works if you never get an opportunity to use them or express them. I don't want to seem ungrateful for any program or scheme designed to give me glitter. But these programs should know that giving me more glitter is not the way to increase the quality of American theater. I imagine that if you are not an artist, that ideas seem to be the currency for artists. That increasing ideas would be the way to build up the bank of art. But we've got the ideas covered. I've got so much glitter, so many ideas. I understand the possibilities. I have an aesthetic education gathered from glittery artists from around the world. I don't need more glitter. I just need a place to play with it. Luckily, I was recently given a space with no real strings, and so I chose to use it to create my own research and development experience, and I'm therefore incredibly grateful to be able to pull out boxes and boxes of glitter I've had sitting around for years. And I get more glitter every day just because I have a place to play. One of the steep learning curves of this iPad situation is that GarageBand on iPad doesn't do track adjustments very well. That is, it's hard to fade in and fade out. It's not a thing that actually is logical and sensible. I feel like I can figure it out sometimes, but to figure it out on every single track is that's like hours of things. So I figured I'd rather get this out to you, keep working on my fade ins and fade outs on the iPad. It is possible, it's just incredibly time consuming. So I will figure it out. Meanwhile, that was the blog. That was my blog about glitter and ideas. Sort of one other thing about it that I've been thinking is really the thing that actually gives me the most ideas is traveling and seeing new things. And, I feel like no one ever gives grants for why don't you travel to a country you've never been to before and see what that's like? I would be totally down with a grant like that. That would be really, really good. Yeah, because schemes for artists are always why don't we get you to see a lot of interesting work by people from this country or that country and watch a theater festival and watch lots of theater. And it's I'm very happy to watch lots of theater, but it actually is not nearly as inspiring as, sitting in an old church or something. It's something just came to me. It's one of those funny things about ideas. Anyway, that is the blog. Because I've been traveling all full of glitter and goodness and fantasticness. And that's going to do it. If you feel so moved, I am on Patreon. So if you know about Patreon, it's a way to support your favorite artists. So if you feel like supporting me on Patreon, that would be so kick-ass. I am on Patreon. I'm not listed under the blog. I'm listed under my name. So check that out. It's Emily Davis on Patreon. And that is that. I'm going to look and see if I can't find you another song to end here with this Songs for the Struggling Artist podcast. This may be the last you hear from me, or you may get a song.
Tu sei l'amore che mi distrugge, non so come dirti come mi piacerebbe stare con te. Se potessi parlare, ti direi quanto angoscia mi fai quando mi passi. Per qualche attimo mi mostri gli occhi, sono luce del cielo che dentro di te. Se potessi parlare, ti direi come mangio sospiri per pranzo, come io soffro, come io sono quasi morto. Mi dà la pietà, mi dà quello che offro. Vai, musica mia, vai per l'aria, vai via. Quando sospiro, respiro il viso che mi trasforma quando tu sei vicino. Tu spiri il fiato che mi sembra divino. Tu sei come la rosa bella e spinosa, la mia lacrima è tanta amorosa. Il tormento mi fai, mi raffina e non so se potessi parlare. Ti direi come mangio sospiri per pranzo, come io soffro, come io sono quasi morto. Mi dà la pietà, mi dà quello che offro.